पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः। पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम्। लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। So we start the Bhagavad Gita, Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. That is a name of this text. This Bhagavad Gita is the most important text of the Vedanta Sadhaka course. Not only Vedanta Sadhaka course, you will find is the most important text for your whole life. And that is why this is the most important text. You all know Bhagavad Gita is a Shastra Grantha. When we say Shastra Grantha, you know what is the significance of that. It is a complete repository of all knowledge. Whenever we say Shastra, we refer to the Shastra Grantha, we refer to a text which is complete. Unlike a Prakarana Grantha, which covers an aspect or a few topics. And this Shastra Grantha, the Bhagavad Gita, comes under what is termed as Smriti Prasthana. Shruti Prasthana, Smriti Prasthana, Nyaya Prasthana. So the Shastra Grantha is classified into these three. Shruti refers to the Upanishads, so Upanishads come under Shruti Prasthana. Nyaya Prasthana refers to Brahma Sutra, and the Smriti Prasthana refers to the Bhagavad Gita. Now you will see one personage connected with all the three, and that is Bhagavan Veda Vyasa. How do you say Bhagavan Veda Vyasa is connected with all of them? Because it was Sri Veda Vyasa who enabled the Vedas to be available for us even today. When he found that the human capacity to maintain, to retain, to remember was all fading, then he compiled all the Vedas available, all the Vedas extant, and he divided the Vedas into four: Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharva. The purpose of dividing the single Veda into four was to ensure that the Vedic knowledge, the responsibility is taken by people who can then ensure that it is taught and learned and given to the posterity. One Veda was too much for anybody, too much to learn, too much to remember, too much to enable that it is shared with posterity. And therefore, he divided them into four. And then he gave the four Vedas to his four important Shishyas. Paila was given the responsibility for Rig Veda. Vaishampayana was given responsibility for Yajur Veda. Jaimini was given responsibility for Sama Veda. And Sumantu was given responsibility for Atharva Veda. And it is because of this reason that he is called Vedavyasa. The word Vyasa, it means what is in a circle, it is circumference, or what do you call, diameter, whatever. So that is called as Vyasa. The Ananta Veda, he could encompass in his, like how he could encircle the Ananta Veda. Kind of diameter, encompassing the whole thing. So since he could encompass the whole Vedic knowledge in this manner, he was called Vyasa. And he encompassed the whole Veda. No mean task. So Vishala Buddhi. His Buddhi itself is so vast. And since he encompassed the whole Veda this way and ensured its preservation, he is well renowned as Sri Vedavyasa. He was born in a Dvipa, therefore his name is Dwaipayana. Since he was little dark in color, the skin color, Krishna. So his name was Krishna Dwaipayana. But rarely people know him as Krishna Dwaipayana. We all know him by what he has done. We all know him as Sri Vedavyasa. Since his ashrama was located among the Badari trees, and since many of his works he composed sitting under Badari trees, and since he did his tapascharya under Badari trees, he is also called as Badarayana. So, Krishna Dwaipayana, Badarayana, is well known as Sri Vedavyasa. So even when he did this magnificent task, which no human being can possibly think of even doing, let alone doing, his heart remained dissatisfied. Why was it? The lives of all Mahatmas are for the welfare of the people, welfare of the society. And therefore, yes, he ensured that the Vedas are protected, nourished, and transferred to posterity. But yet the knowledge enshrined in the Vedas, how would anybody comprehend? It is not so easy also. The Vedic knowledge deals with all the Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And therefore he thought of presenting all these thoughts, all the wisdom dealing with Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the Chaturvida Purushartha. Dharma is performance of noble, virtuous actions leading to punya. Artha is material prosperity required for performance and action and duty. Kama is the fulfillment of wishes and wants which are within the embankments of dharma. And moksha is liberation. So enshrining the principles of dharma, artha, kama, moksha, Vedavyasa envisaged a work of very large proportions, of which we say it has got 1 lakh verses. And that work was Mahabharata. So, when we say Mahabharata, that is where we have the Bhagavad Gita. And this Mahabharata, since Bhagavad Gita occurs in the Mahabharata, in Bhishma Parva, and since the Bhagavad Gita is part of the Mahabharata, therefore you find Vedavyasa associated not only with Shruti Prasthana, but also with Smriti Prasthana. Vedavyasa himself is the author also of the Badarayana Sutras or the Brahma Sutras, which is the Nyaya Prasthana. So, compiling the Vedas is associated with the Upanishads, the Shruti Prasthana. Giving the message of the Upanishads, Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokda, etc., etc. So, what is the Bhagavad Gita? The Bhagavad Gita is a central message of all the Upanishads. So, he presents in the Mahabharata the central message of all the Upanishads. It was expounded by Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself. So, that message of Shri Krishna, that very message, he presents as the Bhagavad Gita. So, thus he is associated with the Smriti Prasthana also. And whatever doubts, so one is a summarization of the Upanishads as the Bhagavad Gita. Upanishads, summarization of the Upanishads. Then, doubts in the Upanishads. So, not only is he happy with summarizing the message, not only did he do that, present that work, but he himself undertook the doubt clarification also. And that doubt clarification in the form of sutras, that is renowned as the Badarayana Sutras or Brahma Sutras. So, thus this personage of Vedavyasa is associated with the Shruti Prasthana, the Smriti Prasthana, and the Nyaya Prasthana. And that is how he is the Guru. We celebrate Vyasa Purnima as Guru Purnima. So his association with knowledge and sharing of knowledge is so strong that he is a representative of all gurus, and he is considered to be the guru of all gurus. Now, when Vedavyasa, he composed the Mahabharata, as we all know, in the Mahabharata, well, the very Mahabharata itself is so vast and so deep, and it is said, Yedi hasti tadanyatra. Yad, it's a very simple Sanskrit you can understand. Yad iha asti tadanyatra. What is there here? Yad iha asti tadanyatra. You could find it anywhere. Somewhere else you could find. Yanna ihasti. Yannehasti na kutrachit. What is there, what is not here, is nowhere else. Yedi hasti tadanyatra. What is there here, you can find somewhere else also. But yanna iha, yannehasti, what is not there here, you will not find anywhere else. So you can imagine what kind of knowledge and wisdom and what kind of information repository is the Mahabharata. So much so that the Mahabharata itself is called as a Panchama Veda. Vedan Adhyapayamasa. Mahabharata Panchaman. So the Mahabharata itself is called as a Panchama Veda. In the Mahabharata itself you find Kashnam cha Panchamam Vedam yen Mahabharatam Smrutam. Panchamam Vedam, this fifth Veda, what is this? Kashnam. What is Kashnam? Associated with Krishna Dwaipayana. The other Vedas are all what? Shruti. Whereas the fifth Veda is what? Fifth Veda is written by Vedavyasa. Kashnam cha Panchamam Vedam yen Mahabharatam Smrutam. So such is the glory of the Mahabharata. And in the Mahabharata, you find what is called as Pancharatna. The Mahabharata has got Pancharatna. 5 texts within the Mahabharata stand out. Ratna is what? Ratna is gem, 5 gems. 5 texts stand out in the Mahabharata. One is, of course, the Gita. Gita, Sahasra Namani. What is the Sahasra Namani? Vishnu Sahasranama. Gita, Sahasra Namani, Stavarajo. Stavaraja. It's called Bhishma Stavaraja. Stavarajo, Hyanusmritihi. Anusmritihi. Anusmriti. Gajendra Mokshanam Chaiva. Gajendra Moksha. Gajendra Mokshanam Chaiva Pancharatnani Bharate. So in the Mahabharata, you have this Pancharatna. What are the Pancharatna? First is Gita. Second is Vishnu Sahasranama. Third is Tavaraja. Fourth is Anusmriti. Fifth is Gajendra Moksha. Find in Bhagavata also. So what is this Anusmriti? Anusmriti is also interesting. Later point of time, after the Bhagavad Gita and all, Arjuna wanted Bhagavan Sri Krishna to again explain the Gita. Because he wanted to again get that. So, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, even though he said it is, I cannot, because that was a different time and a different inspiration, and therefore it came out, I cannot do justice to it, but still, he tried to present the essence. That also is found in the Mahabharata, that is called as Anusmriti. It is also called Anugita. So these are the 5 very important gems that you find in the Mahabharata. And of these 5 gems, the most radiant gem is, of course, the Bhagavad Gita. So much so that Bhagavan Sri Krishna would say, Gita me hridayam partha. Oh Arjuna, Gita is my very heart. In another place of the Mahabharata, you find Bhagavan Sri Krishna saying this about the Gita. Gitashrayeham tishtami. I stay taking recourse to the Gita. It is not that you and I take refuge in the Gita. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Gitashrayeham tishtami. Gita me chottamam griham. And Gita is my home. He takes refuge in the Gita. Gita is my home. Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling. Gita me chottamam griham. Gita jnanam upashritya. Gita jnanam upashritya. Taking recourse to the knowledge of the Gita, Treen lokan palayamyaham. Palayanaham means palayamyaham means what? I protect all the three worlds, meaning I serve all the three worlds. I take care of all my duties as Jagadishwara. This is the importance Bhagavan Shri Krishna gives to the Gita. Now, please don't think when we hear the word Gita, please do not think that this is the only Gita available. There are many Gitas. Let me just give you the names of few important Gitas, okay? From different places. You have Ganesha Gita. Where do you find the Ganesha Gita? In Ganesha Purana. You have Devi Gita. Devi Gita is from Devi Bhagavata. You have Ishvara Gita. And Ishvara Gita is from Kurma Purana. You have Rama Gita. There are three important Rama Gitas. Rama Gita 1, Rama Gita 2, Rama Gita. Three Rama Gitas. One Rama Gita is from Adbhuta Ramayana. Another Rama Gita is from Adhyatma Ramayana. Then you have also a Rama Gita from Skanda Purana. Uddhava Gita from Bhagavata is well known. There is a Yama Gita which is in Narasimha Purana. Then there is a Kama Gita. In Mahabharata itself, you can find 10 Gitas are there in Mahabharata. Okay? One is Kama Gita. Kama Gita is Bhagavan Shri Krishna's Upadesha to Yudhishthira, where he tells to give up I and my. That is called Kama Gita. So there is a teaching there. You have Vasishta Gita. These are all in the Mahabharata. You have Narada Gita. Vidura Gita, that is little well known. Vidura Gita. Anu Gita, which we just now mentioned. In Mahabharata also you have Hamsa Gita. In Bhagavata also you have Hamsa Gita. Mahabharata also. Hamsa Gita. Then you have Brihaspati Gita. Yajnavalkya Gita. Vyasa Maitreyi Gita. Parashara Gita. In Mahabharata itself you have 10 important Gitas. Starting from Kama Gita, you see. Kama Gita, Vasishta Gita, Narada Gita, Vidura Gita, Anu Gita, Hamsa Gita, Brihaspati Gita, Yajnavalkya Gita, Vyasa Maitreyi Gita, Parashara Gita. 10 Gitas. And there are other Gitas also. There is a well-known Guru Gita in Skanda Purana. Then there are other independent Gitas also, which are not part of any text. That's what I mean by independent. Not Uddhava Gita. Uddhava Gita is an... You have Ashtavakra Gita. Ashtavakra Gita. Rubu Gita. Then you have also Avaduta Gita. Many Gitas are there. But interestingly, whenever we say Gita, we refer only to Bhagavad Gita. Is it not? So such is the glory of the Bhagavad Gita that it has swallowed all the Gitas and got the name for itself, Gita. What does the word Gita mean? When we say Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, when we say Gita is what? Gita can be looked from the standpoint of a verb and standpoint of a noun also. So when you say Gita, it means what was sung is Gita. Technically in Sanskrit we say past passive participle, Gita, what was sung. So when you say Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, then what is it Shrimad Bhagavad Gita? Srimata Bhagavata Gita. Srimata Bhagavata Gita. Gita is what is sung, what was sung, who sang? Srimata Bhagavata Gita. What was sung by Bhagavan, Bhagavata, by Bhagavan. Bhagavata, when you say third case, sung by Bhagavan. So, sung by Bhagavan, and what kind of Bhagavan? Srimata Bhagavan. Whenever you say Bhagavan, then itself you are referring to somebody with enormous Aishwarya, is it not? Aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yashashasriyaha vairagyasyat mokshasya shannam bhagaitingana is a well-known verse for all of us. So one who has got all these 6 qualities, Aishwarya, lordship, dharma, virtue, yashas, glory, shriyaha, auspiciousness, aishwaryasya samagrasya dharmasya yashashashriyaha vairagya and moksha. So dispassion and liberation. So one who has all these exemplary virtues or qualities, one who possesses these in full measure, samagra, then we call Bhagavan. So Bhagavata Gita, sung by the Lord. Now when you say Bhagavata Gita, what kind of Bhagavan? Srimata Bhagavata. So that Bhagavan who is associated with Shri Mangala, with all auspiciousness. Now when you say Bhagavan itself has all so many auspiciousness in it, and to that you add further auspiciousness. To the infinite you add some more infinite if you can. Meaning what? It is the height and the acme and the pinnacle of all greatness and goodness, nobility and virtue, glory and greatness. By such a Bhagavan, what was sung is the Gita. Now when you say, by such a Bhagavan, what was sung, usually a song comes when we are in delight. When God becomes happy, a song always comes when you are in great delight. It is an automatic expression of your fullness of your bliss, which overflows and it becomes a song. So when Bhagavan became so delighted, that song which came from him, from he being overwhelmed with joy, that is the Gita. Now you may wonder, what is that which overwhelmed Bhagavan? What overwhelmed Bhagavan was the surrender of Arjuna, was the devotion of Arjuna. And when man surrenders to Bhagavan, Bhagavan feels like a father whose son has returned back, whose daughter has come back. Like parents, how they would embrace their children. In the same way, when the Jiva surrenders to Ishvara, that joy of Ishvara, whereby he again comes back, takes that Jiva back to himself. That joy of Bhagavan is the Gita. So when you say it is song, it is a song of Ishvara at the devotion of the Jiva. In fact, that this Gita is not addressed to Arjuna. This Gita is addressed to every Jiva. And that is why Bhagavan Shankaracharya would say, Arjunam Dimitti Kritya. Keeping Arjuna as an excuse, Bhagavan is talking to each and every one of us. And therefore, this Bhagavad Gita, it's God's letter for each one of us. If I may use, it's God's love letter to each one, every one of us. God expresses His love to us. And when God expresses love, that has become the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is the address of Ishvara to every Jiva. And we all are Arjunas. And to us, Bhagavan is talking. Please don't think this Bhagavad Gita is addressed to Arjuna. This Bhagavad Gita is addressed to each one of us personally. And therefore, whether we respond to Bhagavan or not, He is sending a letter. Whether we have responded to Him or not, we have to decide. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says that each one of us, we are His. And therefore, when we are His, then with what authority and with what love, and at the same time what concern, and with the same feeling of each one of us are His, when He talks to us, that is the Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, this Bhagavad Gita has captured everyone, whoever has studied this Bhagavad Gita, and everyone finds this Bhagavad Gita so meaningful in their spiritual pursuit. It is God's advice and guidance for all of us. So, Srimata Bhagavata Gita, when that auspicious Lord sang for us, that is a Bhagavad Gita. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita can also be understood this way: Srimataha Bhagavataha Gita. It means the same, almost the same, but grammatically, Srimataha Bhagavataha Gita. The song of whom? The song of Bhagavan. Earlier one was song by Bhagavan. Now here is song of Bhagavan. When it is a song of Bhagavan, how should you be treating it? Suppose I give you something and I say, let us say for example, I give you this, not this, okay? Something, I take an object and I give. This is Sri Swami Tapovanamji's, Sri Swami Tapovanam's Paduka. Suppose I give. Or I say, this is Sri Gurudev's Rudraksha Mala. Do you know for our Shankaracharya, we have a Spatika Mala. Once, in the family, this family from whom we have got this illam, that family person, from that lineage, one Shankaran Nambudri, he is a person, he is an elderly person. Once he came and said that he brought a very way. He said, this is the Spatika Mala of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. I'm telling the truth. He gave. Occasionally on very important days they put that for Bhagavan Shankaracharya. Spatika Mala. 5-6 beads only. Very, very big, fat. Now when we received it, what did we feel? Touching, feel. Only, could not say what, no word, nothing coming, and speechless you became. Now, Srimataha Bhagavataha Gita, Bhagavan's song. How it is? What is the value of it? Beyond any value, of infinite value. So, when we say Srimataha Bhagavataha Gita, this Gita belongs to Bhagavan. And we are getting an opportunity to again hold it. What should be our feeling? Srimataha Bhagavataha Gita. Or you can also look at that Shrimad Bhagavad Gita as Srimati Bhagavati Gita. Then Gita becomes a noun. The earlier one also, it became a noun. Srimata Bhagavata Gita. What was sung? Srimati Bhagavati Gita. Song. So when we say Gita and say Bhagavati, it refers to its connection with Bhagavan. And Srimati is all auspiciousness. The most auspicious divine song. Srimati Bhagavati Gita. Whatever way you may look, please understand, this is God's direct connection with us. You will not find any connection more than this, God's connection to us. Sometimes you may feel that these are all words, but as you study the Bhagavad Gita, you will find every word what I have uttered falls short of what is truth. What do you mean fall short of what is truth? Because it is more than whatever we can say. This one text, this one wisdom is sufficient for us, and this alone is enough. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanye Shastra Vistarai. Gita Sugita Kartavya. What is to be done? What is the Kartavya for all seekers? Gita Sugita. This Bhagavad Gita, you make it Sugita. How to make Gita Sugita? That Gita is already Sugita only, but make Gita as part and parcel of your transformation. Gita Sugita Kartavya. Our Gurudev would say very, very nicely, it is not important how many times you have gone through the Gita. How many times has Gita gone through you? It is said somebody went to Gurudev and he said, I have gone through the Bhagavad Gita 18 times. Gurudev just chuckled. And then he said, how many times has Gita gone through you? That Gita going through us is called as Sugita. So if you can make Gita Sugita, then your job is done. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanyai Shastra Vistarai. What is the need for those pile of Shastras if you have the Gita? Why? Ya swayam padmanabhasya mukhapadmat vinisrita. This came from Bhagavan himself. From his mukha padma, from his lotus mouth, it happened. It happened when on behalf of us, one Jiva surrendered to Bhagavan. You become that Jiva who has surrendered. Each one of us are Arjuna. What Arjuna did, if we do, then that song which comes forth from Bhagavan is the Bhagavad Gita. Srimata Bhagavata Gita. Now this Bhagavad Gita, which we have started today on this most auspicious day of Makara Sankranti, and this Gita will continue till the end of your course. Every day evening it will be there. Whatever texts we are doing other than this are going to be in the morning. And this Gita now becomes that thread. Which thread? In a mala, how the thread is going to be there. It will connect every other text you have studied, you are studying, and you will study. This Gita is that sutra, as Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself would say, sutre manigana iva. However much we can say about the Gita is not going to be sufficient. Its glories are far beyond whatever we can speak, and its glories are understood by those who study, by those who practice, and by those who keep the Gita as their compass for this ocean of life. We invoke the Lord's grace, whose grace alone is everything. We invoke Pujya Gurudev's grace, and whom Pujya Gurudev, this Bhagavad Gita and Pujya Gurudev are so close so that every day of his, I don't think many days would have been there in his life when he did not speak of the Gita. His commentary, the Holy Gita, is so well renowned and is considered to be the masterpiece. And Pujya Gurudev himself is considered as the Gitacharya of our times. He did so much for the Gita that all of us, who had chance to listen to him during his Gita Jnana Yajnas, we all came associated with his spiritual wisdom because of that. Or by what he started, and his disciples kept on doing what he wanted them to do, and we became connected with them. This Gita is eternal and will remain to be eternal. This Gita will remain for every Jiva, for every Yuga, and will continue and support and benefit all. That is the glory of the Gita. So much so that Gita is considered as mother. And how anybody can go to the mother and be sure of unconditional love. The Gita gives unconditional love to every seeker, whoever he or she is. Whatever you consider, whether the Gita is your mother, whether you consider the Gita as Bhagavan's letter for you, whatever you may consider, you can consider, but the Bhagavad Gita considers you always as hers. So let's take refuge in the Gita and let us walk the spiritual path with full confidence and assurance that the Lord's grace is ever with us. Every day we will chant the Gita Dhyana Sloka before we start, and we'll go slowly through the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? We'll conclude now. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.